yes, I know most person will say this is very, very going to be very expensive. Yes, it would be expensive looking at it now, but it will be more expensive if you are refused visas subsequently. I mean, I've seen people that refuse visas up to 5 6 10 times, so it keeps denting your your records, your travel records image, or your visa application records basically. Okay, welcome to my channel, Visa Talks with K. So today I'll be talking about quickly how to build your travel history based off of my personal experience. So as an agent, I've actually been refused visas a couple of times until I realized that there's a gap I need to fill in my travel history before I start getting visas, right? So basically, I'll be sharing from my own experience. I was able to build my travel history to a level where, with my passport right now, I can apply for any country I want to apply for, and I will get the visas approved. Okay, so yes, one thing I tell people about travel history is that travel history is actually an enabler for you to get your visas, particularly for some countries that are not open to giving visas for virgin passport or new passport, as the case may be. So sorry for that. In Nigeria, we call it virgin passports basically. So new passports have not been given, have not had any visa stamps or stickers issued on them before. So the trick is, for me, what I did was basically, again, before I even go into my experience, my advice for people who are seeking to build travel history is that for you to travel, for you to plan your travels, you don't just wake up one morning and say you want to travel to, or you want to visit Canada, or you want to visit US, or you want to even visit the UK. In some way, you need to plan. You have to be strategic in your approach, right? So basically, in planning for travel history, what I did was that I started from the low hanging fruit. So which means that before I could even think of applying abroad, so I'd applied a couple of visas with my Virgin passport and I was refused, right? So what I did was I looked inwards, started with countries in Africa. So I've actually been to South Africa, I've been to Rwanda, I've been to Liberia a couple of times. Yeah, so those countries are countries within Africa. So look out for the low hanging fruits. I mean, there are countries in Africa that you can go to open up your passport. I've seen people at least try to travel within West Africa, so even trying going to Ghana, I'm going to Togo, going to Benin. Try to have at least one, two country passport stamps on your passport, so that at least that would give the visa officer the reasons to say, okay, you're not just waking up to travel. Because the issue is, most persons, or most countries, or most embassies have come to understand that most persons that travel on visiting visas don't come back. So you need to prove them wrong, so that you've been to some other countries before and you're trying to now advance from. So you've done, a couple of travels within your locality, within your continent, and you're trying to now advance to a bigger country, so to say. So that reason, would be or that process or that approach you're using would be a good approach to building your travel history. So yes, though I've seen couple of countries, particularly the UK, and even currently now Canada, that gives visas without travel history. Yeah, but the chances of you getting that, is also not maybe could also be slim. So if the better your travel history, the better for you in terms of getting visa. So try to build your travel history within your locality first before you now proceed to the bigger countries. Okay, yes, so after you've been able to build your travel history locally, the next thing, again, from my own experience, I did was to look out for countries within the OEDC bloc. So the OEDC is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So they are like the bigger countries, the bigger boys, or the bigger countries globally. So the countries that have high GDP and high gross national product rates and all that. So countries that are actually rich countries. They are the rich country clubs. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah. So look out for these countries and apply for them. Yeah. Interestingly, almost all the Schengen countries are within the OECD bloc. Of course, the US is there, Canada is there, UK is there, but there are also some other countries that most people are not open to, knowing. So, for instance, there's South Korea, there's Japan. There are other. There's Mexico. They are very. I'll drop the link there so you would see basically this what the membership of this block looks like. So look out for countries within the OEDC block and apply for them. So one thing I did was, because I've actually been to Korea, so I actually applied for the South Korean visa, and that also added to my travel history credential. The key thing is you being able to visit one of the countries within the OECD bloc is a huge advantage, because I tried it in my own case and it worked, because it was until I had the local travel experience adding to my Korean experience, which is a country within the OECD bloc, that I was able to now proceed to applying for 3 Schengen visas. So I've been to 3 countries within the Schengen area, and all my applications were successful when I applied for them. So you could see that, you could see my trajectory, right? Local, OECD, then down to within the Schengen area. So at breaking 3, I've worked across 3 continents, and I've gotten visas within that process. So ensuring that you move from the low hanging fruit to the middle hanging fruit before you go to the highest point is like the strategy for you to build your travel history. So yes, after you've been able to gather all this travel history and experience, remember, yes, I know most person will say this is very going to be very expensive. Yes, it would be expensive looking at it now, but it will be more expensive if you are refused visas subsequently. I've seen people that have refused visas up to 5, 6, 10 times. So it keeps denting your records, your travel record image, or your visa application records, basically. So it's better you, like I said, start with a systematic approach. It could be a strategy for 3 years, 4 years, but once you get it right within that 4 years, for the next 20 years, you are sure that you will not be refused visa. So is that not more profitable than just throwing in your application, and every time you try and every time you get rejected, every time you get money wasted and what have you, right? So it's better you try with this approach. You hit the mark, then you are sure that for the next 10 years or 20 years, once you apply for visas, because of your good travel records and your previous histories of visas, you will be sure given the visa. So if you've tried this couple of times, you trying to apply for Canada or even the US or UK, it will give you a better chance of your approval for the visa. So yes, after you've been able to build all this together, the key thing I also want to mention is, as you travel along these ranks, you need to have good documents that will prove that yes, you visited this country. So for instance, your boarding pass is a very good document that would act as an evidence to back up your stamp on your visa. So most times, because of the way the world is right now, most persons actually even get those stamps even without visiting the country. Yes, they do that. I don't do that, but I've seen people do that a lot. So because of that, some embassies will not even want to give you credence to the fact that you actually visited based off of the stamp on your passport. So what you need to do is to provide documentary evidence. So your boarding pass, maybe your hotel, copies of your hotel reservation, or your book tours that you went, that you got from your visiting to that country would be a good documentary evidence. So you need to keep them together. Of course, another vital thing is the pictures you take at popular tourist locations that could actually, once they see the pinpoint and say this is you in the picture and this location is actually there, then totally validates that you visited that country. So keeping body stamps, boarding passes, keeping pictures, and keeping evidence of your accommodation, residency in that country. It could also include your bus tickets and what have you that you got. So have them in soft copy, because they could get faded away. Have them in soft copy, document them properly, so that when that time comes for you to apply for the next visa application, you add them up with your stamp. So that, of course, automatically sums up your evidence for visiting that country. Okay, so yes, I think I've been able to actually give you some information that you will use to build your travel history. So the key word is you start local, then you grow within the ranks, to get to that final destination you would want to get to, so that you would reduce the chances of you being refused the visa. So thank you very much, guys, for watching the video. If you find it very useful, please give us a thumbs up, give us a comment within the comment section on some suggestions you can also have to add to what we've raised in the video. So thank you very much. Ensure you subscribe to our channel. Ensure you share far and wide for people that will be needing this kind of information. So until we meet in the next video, thank you and bye bye.